Prince Andrew was stripped of all his military titles and charities facing the upcoming lawsuit in the US. And this sets a very relevant precedent for the Montecito dwellers that could be soon facing a similar outcome. Welcome back, my body language buddies. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the body language guy, and it would be great if you join us by just liking this video, subscribing, and hitting that bell. Let's get down to it. The Duke of York can no longer use the title His Royal Highness in any official capacity. This was a decision made on the spot by the Queen along with Prince William, who held an emergency summit at Windsor Castle just hours after news broke that Andrew was going to face a civil trial in the US. So we can assume that he is sweating now. Buckingham Palace issued a statement that included the words, "He will continue not to undertake any public duties and is defending this case as a private citizen." To put this in perspective, Andrew has handed back all 12 of his military affiliations, including Colonel of the Grenadier Guards, and this could also be the result of the mounting pressure to act with a letter signed by more than 150 Navy, Royal Air Forces, and Army veterans asking the Queen to strip him of his military appointments. It's been said, and I have no doubts that this is true, that William has been especially upset about his uncle's behavior, including, but not limited to, the Virginia Giuffre scandal. After all, even if all working royals have been keeping her head down, dedicated to their duties, William has been working relentlessly along with Catherine to bring the image of the monarchy as a new generation. That's an added and very present responsibility, not to mention that he's second to the throne. But being such an ambassador of the monarchy's image does have its challenges, especially when you have burning scandals on both sides of the pond. And before I mention Harry and Meghan, it's important to define how the Queen's decision about Andrew could be perceived. It's not hard to imagine that stripping him of his military titles and royal initiatives could be seen as an admission of guilt, but it's a bit more complicated than that. This has been an ongoing scandal for years, and the final nail in the coffin for Andrew's royal career was having to face this civil trial in the US. In fact, the Queen is not going to finance Andrew's legal battle, so that's why he's selling his Swiss chalet to cover the cost of his case. Now, this is not an admission of guilt because, of course, Andrew still claims that he's innocent of the charge. What really matters is that even if most US civil litigations are settled out of court in private, Giuffre has said over and over again that she wants to face the Duke in court. We go back to the fact that if this is not settled in private, this could drag on for months in a very public case that is going to be very damaging for the monarchy's image. 2021 was bumpy enough for the Queen, who this year is looking forward to her jubilee of 70 years on the throne, which is quite an accomplishment. Sadly, we don't know how bad could be the fallout from Andrew's case. What we do know is that Harry is set to publish his memoir later this year. I already explained in another video why this is a very bad idea for him, but still. And we have very good reason to believe that the only way people would buy that book is to make new, outrageous revelations and claims. After all, Harry and Meghan need to make all the noise they can because they basically live off headlines. We're still waiting for any substance behind their initiatives. And it doesn't help the coincidences such as Lilibet's first birthday is going to be in the same days of the June celebrations of the Queen's Platinum Jubilee. Absolutely random, you know. It's already public that their foundation, Archewell, raised less than $50,000 on 2020, so it would not be surprising that at any minute they end up in Pawn Stars. I don't know, Rick, these people look fake. But Harry was already stripped of his military ranks and royal patronage after Brexit. There have been public requests for them to be stripped of their actual titles, but that is a bit more complicated. And that's where we should draw the line of fairness. Harry and Meghan are no longer working royals. They are no longer associated with any of the royal family's charities or initiatives and have no responsibilities tied to the royal family. But of course, they are still listed on the royal family's website because, well, they are still part of it. Now maybe you think that the Harkles being on this website is not a big deal, or maybe you think that they should be removed altogether. But what is not fair in this case is that they have been coasting on the back of the royal family's name, even attacking it directly in more than one occasion, and using those infamous actions to fuel their own relevance. That's why we don't know which one of the two is more evil, whether Harry or Meghan or both, because they managed to put themselves in a position that, reaction or no reaction from the royal family, they benefit from that. If the Queen tries to ignore them, that's exposure for them. If they are finally removed from the website or any other reference, or there is any action involving them, that's exposure for them too. Even if we still don't know how they could capitalize that attention, the fact is that they will be getting it for free and with no direct consequences. And this is important for us because Harry and Meghan's position is the closest example that we can get to constant passive-aggressive attacks. It's that kind of narcissist that no matter what you do, whether you try to counterattack them or try to fix them in some way or try to fix whatever trouble they get you into, they're gonna drag your energy. And they do it in a way that is very difficult to call them out on that, because they know how to play the victim or blame other person for their faults, or in the case of Harry and Meghan, blame their families for their troubles. And they do it in a way that is very difficult to call them out on that, because they know how to play the victim or blame another person for their faults, or in the case of Harry and Meghan, blame their families for their troubles. Yes, it is very immature, upsetting, and I'm sure that at some point of your life you've had to deal with jerks like this. You see right through them, you know that they are dragging you down, and any action or non-action you take just drains your energy, and it looks like they win every time. But you will always have the option of ghosting or removing them from your life. But Harry and Meghan are one of the most public couples in the world, so they cannot be removed just like that. And believe me, I'm sure the Montecito neighbors have tried. But even craving so much attention, I don't think it's in Meghan's best interest to be related in any way to Prince Andrew's trial. And in fact, there are certain rumors about the possibility that Meghan had already met Andrew before meeting Harry for the first time. Now, given the circumstances, I don't think Nutmeg would want to have anything to do directly with this kind of claims, because in that case it will be another lie that she tried to hide, and we don't know what will be the extent and impact of that parallel story in case it's true. Because there is no record of reference of Harry being even remotely close to Andrew, but we know the reasons for Andrew's visit to the United States. So whatever comes to light is going to be a real mess. That would be a perfect storm for the Queen and for the Cambridges, because as I've already said, they have the responsibility of bringing the monarchy into the next generation, while the fallen members, especially Harry and Meghan, can do as they please with no direct repercussions or responsibility. I've always said that no one should be compared or measured to their family members, not for good and neither for bad. Of course, there can be two brothers raised in the same conditions with vastly different character and reputations. And you might be in a similar situation, that someone in your family is just an energy drain that makes your life miserable. My best recommendation is to just ignore them as much as you can and focus on what you can control. Remember that you always come first. If you want to refine your observation skills, all you have to do is download my 100 body language tips right in the description of this video. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas, and it will always be a pleasure, my body language buddies. Much love and bliss.